Do you have a problem trying to block the lower part of the body when someone tries to kick you for like a low kick or even a body kick? I know that by now in combat sports, we usually focus on the punches, even in kickboxing, right? A lot of people are heavy-handed, so that's great that we've learned the windshield wiper, we've learned like the front guard and all the videos that I've taught you. But a lot of people still have a problem checking those low kicks and checking those body kicks. And in today's video, you're not gonna have that problem no more, because today I'm gonna teach you the most efficient way to do those kicks. So oftentimes, guys, when I started kickboxing over in San Diego, that was my biggest problem, is to block kicks, because it didn't come naturally. Usually, a kick check is kind of weird to do, to be honest, right? Like, you have to move every single part of your body almost. So what I mean by that is that over here, look what's going on with all my body parts. I have to bring this leg up, and then I have to frame off just in case. And then I have to block a wall with this other hand. Like, there's so many things going on with that. And I know with drilling comes practice, but again, it's so awkward, right? When I kick check, look at this Muay Thai kick. I want to demonstrate something because, or not Muay Thai kick, sorry, with this check in Muay Thai is that, look, when I'm doing this, first of all, I'm on one foot. I feel so vulnerable unless I know that the guy is a power kicker, all right? And he's very, very kick heavy. Determining on, say, the first round or the first few seconds, if he's kick heavy, then yes, it's very good to do this and then have a high kick check, because number one, we're trained to do that in Muay Thai because those are competition rules. If someone kick checks, then that counts as kind of like, you know, you're staying dominant, right? Like, that kick didn't phase you, and the judges see that, right? But if you say Dutch block like this, you're not really blocking the shot. Like, you're still getting hit. Pretty much they count it as still getting hit in the head. So those are just some concepts in competition. That's why I've been trained in the beginning to be able to kick check, which is great. It's awesome. But this channel is all about practicality and self-defense and what you're gonna do. And that's only one aspect of it, right? Like I said, it was awkward for me to do. I had a hard time doing this. It was just an awkward position. But you can actually adjust, all right? I'm very detail-oriented in when you start getting good at boxing, and even when you're beginning in kickboxing, okay? So what I mean by being very specific, detail-oriented is that, for example, in one of my videos, I showed like the two, right? So if I throw a two, look, that's great that you know the two, where the power comes from and the sweet science of actually throwing that punch. But now when we get to the nitty-gritty of the details of being able to throw that cross or that two, then look, for example, what I mean is that, okay, cool, you learned the two, great, you have a lot of power in it, but look, if I were to, boom, I'm gonna go up in the camera and show you. If I were to throw the two and turn it over, right? Instead of just throwing the two like that, look how much of my face gets covered, okay? Look, now it's hard for them to hit me with a hook, or it's hard for them to hit me back because I got so much more protection. But anyway, that's what I mean by being so detailed. Okay, because within the move, there's a move. Like I talked about, it's like Inception. Within a dream, there's a dream, there's a dream. Within a move, there's a move. And that's why I'm able to coach beginners at a high level, right? I show them what's gonna come up in their kickboxing journey in order for them to know what to expect and to practice it ahead of time before they get to that level. I like to structure it, yes. I like to do I like to take beginners through what beginners do, the basics, and then as I go on to intermediate, I like for them to know what's coming up and to drill it ahead of time so that they're ahead of the game. So anyway, I explain all that because now we're getting into like the subtle nuances of how to do things. So when you learn the kick check, just like when you learn the punch, okay, cool. You're kicking here, you're blocking, you have a high kick check, but look, with my legs that I show you, you don't have to raise it up. Some people fall into the habit of just doing Muay Thai, and then when they get into MMA striking, it's a lot different, right? We're not just countering back and forth. We're actually moving our feet. We're doing footwork. We're not just boom, and then the other guy counters, and then I counter back, and it's just a head-on collision every time. Personally, I don't like to do that. That's not my style. I like to move at angles. I'm kind of like, honestly, kind of like Floyd Mayweather. I don't like to get hit, you know, and I'm sure a lot of you don't. But there's a lot of people that are out there that are too tough for their own good. So back to my point is that when we're kick checking, we make it a habit of this because we've been doing Muay Thai for so long. But again, this is a universal kickboxing channel. So when I kick, look, this is so simple, but yet a lot of people don't do it, is that when they low kick or even when they body kick, you don't have to raise your leg all the way up here. You can just do the Alex Pereira. Alex Pereira does this all the time in the UFC. He'll do this, look. He'll just raise it, maybe up to here, and that's enough to be able to block a kick. Now, it doesn't mean your shin's not gonna hurt, but then it's even worse if you don't block it. So even just simple as kick checking like this, and not all the way to the body like we're so used to. Yes, you can, you know, kick check a little bit lower, but then if you just stick your shin out and stick it out, that's the key, like this, look. You see that? Like that. Or even with the other one, if someone's kicking you in the back leg, like that, right? You're bracing for it. So when they attack you, and it's kind of like a punch. If they attack you with a punch, that's where, and you're not ready for it, that's when most knockouts happen because you're either off balance or you don't expect it. So you're not bracing for impact. So you're not going, oh, and then they hit you, and you're like, all right, that's cool. But then if you don't expect it, like you see those double KO counter or double KOs that happen, it's because one guy, they're not really expecting it because the punches come so quick. And when they're punching, they're pretty much like kind of off balance, right? They're open the shots, I mean. So it's like, boop. And then all of a sudden down they go because the punch is happening so quickly and they don't expect it. So that's the same thing. This block, even though it'll hurt, you're still bracing for impact. Look, right? You're kind of planted, you're turning your shin. Here, I'll go closer. You see that? Just this simple move with a low kick. Oh man, that hurts. That hurts them because sometimes with a low kick, we can't be accurate all the time. Sometimes when they throw a low kick like this, they'll hit it with the ankle or their foot. Boom, right? They won't hit it with their shin all the time, the hardest part of the leg. So what that does is that when you're blocking like this or like this, I mean, it's kind of like hitting like a bamboo, like what they do in Thailand, right? It hurts. So those subtle movements, the whole point of this video is, yes, that block, and that block comes a long way because boom, boom. Now you can focus on other things without having to check all the way up where someone can feint and then they'll go for a sweep, right? In Muay Thai, when you're one-legged, you're off balance right here. And then when someone does that, when I feint a punch, so what I like to do is when I feint a punch, and then I'll go in for a leg kick or I'll go in for a sweep. So that is one of like the ways that you can really check kicks. And then the other way, just to make it quick, is that you can adjust your level of the check. So instead of having to go up high all the time, again, you can do the Alex Pereira and just kind of go here, kind of go here, kind of go here. See, it's not all the way up here to where you're vulnerable, okay? Unless, again, you know that they're a heavy kicker. So over here, boom, boom, brace, brace. You're bracing for impact, and even with the inside leg kick, right? Look, I'll just turn it over. That makes such a big difference. And try it out with your partner. Try it out with your partner. Just by doing that, just by turning your shins like that, oh, it'll save you from, or number one, it'll save you from a lot of pain. And number two, you look more dominant, and it's gonna hurt way less if you don't do that. If you're just taking calf kicks and all that stuff, then yeah, it's gonna hurt way more than what it should. So these are like the subtle nuances of being attention detail oriented. That's why I like to coach kickboxing. That's why I got into coaching, because it's all about the smaller details when you get to the higher levels, and not just the higher levels, it's the beginners. I point out with a lot of my clients, I pointed out to them like, okay, they're hitting the bag so hard that the bag's about to come off the ropes because they have so much power because they learned the basics. But the problem is that there's certain nuances when they start sparring. There's certain nuances like the block that I was telling you, and all of a sudden they get into head-on collision, and they're the ones getting, kind of blasted and getting knocked out. Not knocked out, it doesn't go to that extreme when we're sparring, but then they're the ones getting blasted, they're the ones getting hit in the face while the other guy's protected because of the smaller detail. Just like a kick check, boom, boom. Over time, it just adds up. So that's the whole point of why I did this video. I want you to stay safe. I want you to stay protected. And I want you to start thinking about the small details, because there are levels, right? You hear that in fighting all the time. There's levels to this shit. So, guys, like this video if you got value out of it, and only if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't done so yet, and also share this with anyone that wants to learn the art of kickboxing. Also check out my podcast. You could learn a lot from it. I'll click the show links down below. I have high-level martial artists from whatever it is that you practice, jiu-jitsu, kickboxing. This is mainly a kickboxing channel, but we're also heavy on that. So go check that out. Have a look. I'll see you guys on the next one.